Imagine a time when the old gods of the Norse ruled the land, only to be gradually replaced by a new faith, Christianity. This monumental shift didn't happen overnight, but took several centuries to complete. Let's explore how Scandinavia transitioned from paganism to Christianity, forever altering its cultural landscape. Welcome to Norse Mythology 101. Today, we dive into the ancient texts that have safeguarded Norse mythology for us. From the early days of literacy in Scandinavia to the epic sagas and intricate poetry, we uncover how these stories survived through the ages. Literacy in Scandinavia was a game changer, but it didn't start with myths and legends. Initially, the written word was used for laws, histories, and religious texts. How did the rich oral tradition of Norse mythology find its way into these early writings? Dr. Matthias Nordvig highlights that the conversion to Christianity in Scandinavia was a gradual process that took several centuries. The earliest evidence of a Christian community in Scandinavia is found in southern Denmark in the beginning of the 700s, specifically in the town of Ribe, where a Christian cemetery has been found. The conversion was largely a top-down process, with local magnates or kings proclaiming their regions or countries Christian. For example, Harald Bluetooth declared Denmark Christian between 960 and 965 CE. Olaf Tryggvason proclaimed Norway Christian in 995, while Iceland's General Assembly adopted Christianity by consensus in the year 1000. Sweden was formally Christianized around 1080 to 1090. Rune stones across Scandinavia commemorate this transition. The Kuli stone from Kuløy in Norway reads, Porir and Halvaror raised this stone in memory of Ulfljótur. Christianity had been 12 winners in Norway. In Sweden, the Fröso stone from Jamland, dating around 1030 to 1050, states, Austmaor, Guofaster's son, had this stone raised and this bridge built, and Christianized Jamtaland. Asbjorn built the bridge. Trion and Stein carved these runes. The Jelling stone from Jutland, Denmark, commissioned by King Harald Bluetooth between 960 and 965 CE, is particularly significant. It reads, King Haraldr ordered this monument made in memory of Gormr, his father, and in memory of Thirv, his mother, that Haraldr, who won for himself all of Denmark and Norway and made the Danes Christian. The conversion to Christianity marked the most significant mental and social transformation in Scandinavian history until modern times. It influenced politics, social structures, the economy, art, hierarchy, and gender roles. Over time, the Nordic countries replaced their pre-Christian worldviews with Christian ones, becoming more integrated into European culture. The conversion process in Scandinavia can be divided into two phases, a British phase and a German phase. Early conversion efforts were dominated by English liturgical vocabulary, reflecting the influence of British missions. After 1000 CE, German vocabulary and ecclesiastical organization became more prominent. Despite changing religions, Scandinavians retained their cultural identity. Christianity introduced literature and literacy, transforming Scandinavian society from a largely oral culture to one with written records. Books and documents began to play a central role in life, and a new social elite, the clergy, emerged. The church's hierarchical structure became a dominant societal force. The conversion to Christianity brought about profound changes, but it also meant the gradual decline of the old gods. Odin, Thor, and other deities, once central to Scandinavian spirituality and daily life, were replaced by Christian saints and doctrines. However, the transition was not uniform or immediate. Many aspects of the old beliefs persisted, sometimes blending with the new faith. The practice of sacrifice, for example, was a significant element of pre-Christian worship. Personal items, food, Animals, wagons, humans, and precious metals were offered in bogs and lakes to communicate with the gods. These sacrifices continued until around the 500s CE, when central halls became the focal points of religious activity. Dr. Matthias Nordvig explains that Snorri Sturluson's Edda, a foundational text for understanding Norse mythology, consists of 4 parts, written at different times. The first part, Hatatal, was likely created first as an oral poem before being written down. This section showcases different poetic meters used in skaldic poetry. Following Hatatal, Snorri wrote Skaldskaparmal to explain kennings, circumlocutions, and analogies used in skaldic poetry. These complex metaphors are crucial for understanding the rich, layered meanings in Norse myths. Skaldskaparmal offers insights into the mythological and cultural context behind these kennings, making it an essential part of Snorri's Edda. The third part, Gylfaginning, was written to perfect a question-and-answer format where the gods answer questions from a curious learner. This section provides a detailed account of Norse cosmology and mythology, structured as a dialogue between King Gylfi and the Aesir gods. It serves as a comprehensive guide to the Norse mythological universe. Finally, Prologues was written to set the appropriate frame and understanding for the subsequent sections. This prologue can be divided into 6 parts based on subject matter: universal Christian history, the origin of humanity, Snorri's theory on non-Christian religions, universal Christian geography and Troy, the genealogy of the Aesir, the migrations of the Aesir, and Snorri's theory of language. The prologue begins with a universal Christian history. Snorri explains that God created the world and humans descended from Adam and Eve. After humanity strayed from God's laws and began to worship wealth, mammon, God sent a deluge to cleanse the world. Noah repopulated the earth after the flood, and people lived according to God's laws for some time. Eventually, they forgot God's name and worshipped mammon again. Despite losing spiritual sight, God allowed humanity to retain logic and reasoning, which led them to develop their own pagan explanations for the universe. Snorri uses this framework to explain the emergence of non-Christian religions. Lacking true spiritual insight, pagans believed in a divine controller of celestial bodies and viewed the earth as a living entity. They worshipped the earth and its controller, tracing their lineage back to these entities. Snorri describes the world's division into 3 parts: Asia, Europe, and Africa. The Mediterranean separates Europe from Africa, while the River Tanais and the Arabian Sea separate Asia from Europe and Africa. The most beautiful and richest part of the world, Jerusalem, lies at the center. Ancient Troy, located in Asia Minor near Jerusalem, was the Aesir's original home. When the Aesir migrated from Troy to Scandinavia, they impressed the local populations with their wealth and capabilities. Odin, a central figure in Norse mythology, prophesied that he would be revered as a god in Scandinavia. As he migrated, he established different kingdoms and royal families across northwestern Europe. Snorri places Svipdag in East Saxony, Balder in Westphalia, Siggy in France, Skjold in Jutland, Denmark, Sigtuna as the capital in Sweden, Saming in Norway, and Yngvi in Uppsala, Sweden. Snorri's reasoning connects the word Aesir to Asia based on medieval etymologies by Isidore of Seville. He claims that the Aesir, originally from Asia, married local women, spreading their language across northwestern Europe. Snorri notes similarities in the languages of Saxony, Norway, Denmark, and Sweden, and mentions that place names in England also reflect this language. These place names likely date back to the Viking Age migrations. This prologue sets a comprehensive context for the myths and stories in Snorri's Edda, blending Christian and pagan elements to explain the origins and migration of the Norse gods. As we piece together the origins and preservation of Norse mythology, we reach a key moment. Understanding how these ancient beliefs were documented and safeguarded for future generations. Snorri Sturluson's contributions highlight the importance of written sources in maintaining cultural heritage. In this episode, we've explored the conversion to Christianity in Scandinavia and the prologue to Snorri's Edda, understanding how these pivotal changes influenced the preservation and transformation of Norse mythology. Join us next time as we continue to uncover the secrets of Norse mythology, exploring more myths, gods, and legends that shaped the ancient Norse world. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Let us know in the comments which Norse myth or figure you want to learn more about.